Welcome to TeamSpeak, advanced voice communication software for any platform. TeamSpeak allows groups of people to communicate and share information with anyone, via the internet or through private networks. Using your Windows, Mac or Linux-based computer, all you need is a headset with microphone, and in minutes you can be chatting with others in real time, using our crystal clear voice technology.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is time for semifinal number 2. And, you know, for all you Strelok Select fans out there, this match is pretty important to figuring out the storyline of what could happen because, of course, one of these players has to beat Baz in the finals in order for those two players to remain alive in a qualifier matchup.
Yeah, so I guess, yeah, as you said, just to reiterate, if you're a Strelok or Select fan, you're hoping for one of these guys to go all the way and win the tournament. I believe the scenario played out that KawaiiRice needs to be at least in the finals to secure his spot, whereas HasuObs has the luxury of there's some scenarios that can play out that if he loses his semifinals, he can still advance into the TSL3 if, you know, the stars align. But in order to guarantee himself a spot, he also needs to win this match.
Right. There is still the possibility of that three-way tie, and we are starting things out here on Metalopolis. Let's get into the action as it looks like the initial moves have been made. The pawns have been put forward. Well, first and foremost, we do have our red Protoss, HasuObs, in the 6 o'clock position on Metalopolis, and his Terran opponent, Fnatic KawaiiRice, at the 9 o'clock position, already getting a gas and his racks going down, and we'll see the initial scout going out as well, as Hasu is going to go counterclockwise and ultimately the scout last, placing some pylons around for some initial vision. And you know, TVP, there's another matchup that's kind of been evolving lately, mutating, if you will. So really excited to just see. I feel like we truly are in an era of things just kind of changing around a little bit.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of different styles in TVP. People have had mech play working. Some people actually making mech, or excuse me, not mech, but standard bionic, if you want to call it, with Marine Marauder, Medevac, and tanks. And some people just sticking with the tried and true Marine Medic, not Marine Medic, Marine Medevac, Marauder, Ghost. So that's a mouthful. Going ahead and throwing up the APM tab, we can see KawaiiRice getting his spam on. He was pushing it to the limit. Almost at 400 APM for a while, but he's slowed down now. Finding his comfort zone. Meanwhile, mouz.HasuObs sitting around 150, 200, bouncing around there, averaging 160. And as we see this probe drop a pylon in the gas, we can see this is new, you know, Blizzard's new Metalopolis, where this smoke here now forms a complete ring, which is a bit of an interesting change. If you have a unit in there, it can't see anything outside of the smoke, so you can't just drop something there to scout for drops anymore, and that makes it really difficult to stop drop play, or at least it's been theorized, because I think this map has only been live for less than 24 hours, but that's what people are saying now. It's going to be more difficult to check for drops, as you can't just sit in that smoke area and see everything outside in the air.
Right. And of course, you know, being in that little area can be beneficial too. You can break the line of sight of everything outside of it as well. So I'm with you. I'm kind of curious to see how it is going to change things. A nice little lip. You know, now you can hide some buildings in there if you can get the placement right, whatever. But obviously, it's going to be checked an awful lot. We got a factory going down along with the command center here for KawaiiRice. He's got a couple Marauders and Marine up front, dropping a bunker as well. Meanwhile, over in the Protoss base, we have a Robo facility going down, a second gateway and a third gateway as well. And I'm personally been a big fan of like a 3-gate Robo build. I think a lot more people are starting to utilize the Robo facility the way it was intended. And you know, some players real good at executing all the different things you can do out of that building.
Yeah, I'm always really interested to see Immortals in the early game because they're the kind of unit when they get focused down, they look really like piddly little units. They're useless, but when you see them really targeting the Marauders and absorbing the damage and then dancing back when they're out of their hardened shield, they really look incredibly strong. You can see Scouting SCV gonna run up and just bump heads with a bunch of Protoss units. The Observer going to fly into the main base of KawaiiRice, going to see, whoa, that's not double vision. That's actually a second orbital command. He's going to hold on to that second mule for a little bit. Don't know if he wants to drop that at the natural or if he wants to try to scan and take out that Observer. Observer checking the smoke, nothing doing over there. Just moving around. Everything looking pretty standard here for KawaiiRice thus far. He's going to get going to get a second tank out. Siege mode about to complete. Meanwhile, coming out of the robotics, another Observer coming out for HasuObs here.
Chill. I think that Hasu just kind of came over here, floated over, was like, okay, there's a few Marines, a couple tanks out.
Yeah, nothing
I'm
really
gonna
dangerous.
expand, and I'm going to, you know, he's got a good little economy going here on his one base. Extend that to the natural. He's also got a robotics bay going down as well as a Twilight Council. So he obviously feels very comfortable that he's got some room to work with. There's no impending doom. It's going to be coming his way. He didn't see a starport, so he's not going to have to worry about drops at all. And, you know, I'd guess that as a Protoss, this is exactly the position that I'd want to be in. Like, okay, you know, give me a chance to do what I want to do here. Now, of course, how that will translate into, you just let the Terra do whatever they want until the late game, and they can get real nasty. You know, that's different. So I'm kind of expecting Hasu has a plan here.
You know, I don't really like how KawaiiRice has opened up, to be frank. If I'm the Protoss player, I feel absolutely zero pressure. He's sitting in his main base. He's got turrets up, actually. There's no starport. It's just finishing up now. So I feel no threat of drops. If I'm HasuObs, I'd probably even take a third base more quickly. But it looks like he wants to take kind of the slower pace here. He's getting Blink up. He's getting his first Colossus out. But I think as the game progresses and we see more development of strategies, we're going to see people, especially on bigger maps, taking the third base way more quickly than we see here. And that's definitely an opportunity that presents itself here for HasuObs, as he feels absolutely no pressure. Even bunkers going up now. Finally a Hellion out on the map to give some semblance of map control or some threat to KawaiiRice. But, you know, HasuObs has to feel, you know, comfortable, like he's wearing his favorite sweater.
I agree. I mean, he's feeling totally comfortable. He's in his pajamas. Now, we do have a nice little force moving out here. And interesting turret placement, as that will stop at least the Colossus from doing a ton of damage. He's going to be moved back, and the Colossus actually taking a ton of unnecessary damage, but it's going to move this army in. And wow, Hasu actually going to do some significant damage here. Awesome. My mouse just went out, and so did my keyboard. I'm literally stuck on this one. Oh, there we go. Okay. Wow, that was crazy what happened right there. I'm sorry. But that's okay. I was stuck on the Protoss army, and right now they're just wrecking base inside of KawaiiRice's little facility there. He's not moving his siege tanks forward. He moved a couple of Hellions forward. But, you know, really he's almost like, this isn't really happening to me, so I'll just kind of ignore it.
And, I mean, KawaiiRice is definitely shaken by this. He did a little bit of a blue Hellion drop there, but it was shut down by Sentry Force Field and some Stalkers. Didn't do too much damage, killed a few probes there, but HasuObs, meanwhile, taking his third base. He's still harassing in the main base. KawaiiRice floating up over 1,200 minerals here. He's got a Viking out. Stalker's trying to blink forward and snipe that, but nothing doing really there. But even if Hasu loses this entire force that's in KawaiiRice's main base, I mean, the damage is done. He's set KawaiiRice on his back foot, and looks like the Colossus may walk out, and the Stalkers still have the option to just blink out. Meanwhile, Supply is going to tell the tale here. 84 for our Protoss player, 85 for KawaiiRice, but with the third base coming online, just about to finish up here at about 75%. HasuObs is looking like he's sitting pretty here.
Yeah, and I think he can do a real successful poke here at the front. There's 2 Marauders in that bunker, a couple Marines. Now, there is a siege tank up high and a Viking inside the main, but if he came around here over to where the factory is or perhaps where this barracks is, he could do some significant damage before any of these things could actually, and that's exactly what he's doing right now. He takes out 1 add-on. He's going to go for a 2nd add-on, and, well, he might even take out a factory here as well. Tanks are moving forward, but they're not quite yet in siege position. Finally, one does get a 2nd one, will siege up, and great control here with these units as he takes more out, takes another Hellion out, moves on over, and really the defense of KawaiiRice here not so hot, as I don't think I've ever seen a Protoss quite bully around a Terran like this.
Something that I don't know if you know who Thomas Cadwell is. He's Zilius from the Brood War beta, but something he's always advocated, which I've agreed with, is that concentration is the 3rd resource, and that's kind of a concept that's never really caught on, but it's something I've always based my play around, and it's something we can see here from KawaiiRice. Forcing your tanks to unsiege, move over, and re-siege, it seems like a menial task that a good player should be able to do easily, but it's kind of that concentration that breaks, it breaks the other routines that you're going through, and we can see it's had an effect on KawaiiRice as he's struggling, floating his factories around, his base is in, disarray. He's trying to get add-ons on, but it's really just struggling. He's floating at 2,300 minerals. Meanwhile, back at HasuObs' base, he's just making units. He's got 3 bases. He's running a few units around. Really, from a concentration affecting standpoint, it's a huge advantage for Hasu to just run around, bother KawaiiRice, and then go back and make units. And the Stalkers and Colossus, they're still alive. They're still being annoying.
Yeah, they are. He has gotten a lot of worth out of these units. He's taken out a factory, took out a couple of add-ons, he killed a ton of units, and now the Terrans trying to take their 3rd, and they can't. We've got more Stalkers coming to reinforce this. One hero Colossi only has 3 kills, but, just the threat of it has been amazing. Now we see Hasu quickly deciding, well, I'm not going to give up this army. I just don't want to, throw it away.
Right.
And I like that. We see too many players, be okay throwing away, but he's already gotten so much worth out of this army. Why not keep it up? You can see he's got pylons all around the map. He's got all these reinforcement points. This is quite amazing because he's going to be able to reinforce. Oh my God, look at over here. He's gearing up for attack number 2 with the exact same composition, but this time he has 2 Colossi and a bunch more Stalkers. He's going to quickly take out this turret, and it's going to be the same thing all over again.
Yeah, he's just completely blinking up, joined by the 2 Colossi here. Going to work on the Thor. Thor didn't even have a chance. It's trying to run away back to the Siege Tank. KawaiiRice has 3 Siege Tanks, which could be taken out if Hasu decided to focus on it, but looks like he just wants to be annoying, harassing around here. And just look at the amount of red dots scattered around the map, just giving full map dominance to Hasu. And having those pylons around, he's able to warp in units. He's still got this 2nd group sitting on KawaiiRice's side of the gold base, and the orbital command actually may be taken out. Looks like it's going to float away, getting repaired. It will make it away, but just really, really annoying play. Let's see how many minerals. KawaiiRice is floating up at 2,500 yet again, and the supplies aren't hugely in Hasu's favor. It's only 150 to 130, but if this game goes on any longer, you're just going to see a gateway spam and an explosion of units out of Hasu. I mean, he's got his Templar out on the field. Does he have Psionic Storm yet? I believe he does, as he's got the Kaidarian. No, he's not. He's going for Kaidarian Amulet first. But we can see the gateway explosion begin now from HasuObs, putting a bunch of gateways in his main base as he's got his 3rd base up. He's got a lot of money. Why not just spam it on cannons to defend that so he can't be harassed?
Yep.
Really put, he, as I said before with concentration, if he doesn't have to focus with defending drops on his 4th base, that just makes it so much easier to continue to produce units and continue to annoy KawaiiRice, and it looks like that's what he's got planned.
And one of the things here for HasuObs is, a lot of people can't be as aggressive as Hasu has been with these Colossus, just simply because they are an expensive unit that take a long time to make. So, you know, similar to like siege tanks, you lose your numbers, and it's going to take you a long time to get those numbers back. And he's really had some great control. You can see that they're hurting pretty badly here. Looks like some Hellions are going to quickly make a ruckus here around the map. We see them flying into the fourth now, possibly into the third. But look at the cannon spread, just so much. Yeah, sure, they might come in and toast a few probes, but you know, at this point, even looking at it, it's 82 to 55, and that puts Hasu way far ahead. In fact, he could actually lose a few right now and be okay. As you see, his main is nearly mined out, and look at that. Dark Shrine coming in here as well. So a double Templar threat right here with the high and the dark coming out, hitting them from both sides. Chill. Why not? Why not? He has total control right now. I can't see this game slipping from his hands.
And we've got a Warp Prism actually moving into the new smoke, so that's obviously going to go in phasing mode, or pyloning mode if you want to call it. Gonna bring in some Dark Templar, I've got to imagine. No, one Dark Templar, one Zealot, so that's a little strange. But with him max now, he can't even do anything. Yeah, gonna bring in the Dark Templar. There's a turret up, so that's gonna be shut down. But what I'm looking at in the meantime is, you know, KawaiiRice has a floating command center at his natural. He's got another orbital command at his natural. At his third base, he's got another floating command center. Like, the wheels are just coming off. Yes, he's max, but when these guys get in an engagement, if it's any sort of trade whatsoever, I mean, we're just going to see HasuObs remax instantly. He's got cannon set up at his, you know, he's got this anti-dropping cannon wall. He's making a billion trillion gateways here, going to make him into warp gates. And I'm trying to imagine a world where Terran wins this, and it's just not coming to me.
Yeah, I don't think there is one. In fact, these two Vikings go out to try to kill that Warp Prism. That Warp Prism had just the smartest movements. He went down to the corner of the map and then returned back to base. I mean, just some ridiculous control. We now see the Warp Prism making his way around. And hold on, we got an engagement here at the third. Oh my God, a lot of siege tanks there. And just as they go into siege mode, the Protoss does manage to get out. So, you know, at this point, he's got to be thinking, okay, I need one way at least to eliminate this mech army. Right now, you can see a lot of Stalkers, a bunch of Zealots. We've got some High Templar moving into position, a few Immortals in the background. So I feel like there's a really good army, and here we go.
Here we go. Siege tanks moving in, getting in siege mode, and looks like HasuObs wants none of that. Just running away, eating one shot from a siege tank and moving away. He's got Templar
Warp
in this
Prism.
army. Colossus. Warp Prism actually sneaking into the back of the third, warping in a High Templar, but he doesn't have enough energy. Did he cast a storm? No, 0 kills. So I don't know what happened there. But you know, KawaiiRice has played this correctly to his credit. He's maxed out. If he can get one ridiculous engagement where he just completely crushes HasuObs' army, and more units being warped in at the Warp Prism, the Dark Templar, a High Templar, 2 Stalkers, another High Templar, and yeah, looks like we're gonna have a big engagement as HasuObs has actually moved himself into a corner, getting stormed a little bit, but he's able to run away, trying to get some damage. Oh my God, more storms on the Hellions. A lot of Thors moving forward. They need to stay under the cover of the siege tanks. KawaiiRice still has a lot of supply. He's up at 175, and this death ball of Protoss moving in. More storms going on up the Hellions, taking them out. Stalkers blinking away. KawaiiRice is doing well to not engage until he's absolutely sure. And now Thor's moving in, taking out a lot of Stalkers. Immortals eating tank fire, forced to run away. This is not looking that bad for KawaiiRice if he can get a reasonable engagement here.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. I mean, in one hand, we've seen the Protoss basically start flying. He's making carriers right now. More Warp Prisms are coming out. So even though he may have like kind of lost a battle, he still has so much map control. He's going to basically bring Ultralisk on the river, which is carriers at the end here, and it'll be perfect for this army that he's putting together. He's going to go ahead and engage again, maybe just giving the Terran a little bit of a false security here, as there are a ton of siege tanks, and my God, those carriers are just going to rape them. Now, we do have these command centers, and I'm surprised he hasn't just gone ahead and made a planetary wall here to try to stop all this stuff, because the Protoss continues to harass. You know, we've got good observer coverage everywhere, but again, we have those Warp Prisms coming out now, so expect possibly another drop. And here we go, going after that third yet again. we will see one of those command centers finally go down, and these unsieged tanks will get ripped apart. Can you believe the 10 kills on that Colossus, 8 on that one, 13 on that, but they've done a lot of damage. They're going to turn around again. Those guys have survived for so long.
Yeah, are these the same 3 Colossi that have been here all game?
Yes.
More
yes.
High Templar being warped in on the high ground. 3 Colossus still alive. High Templar just licking their chops as they move in towards to cast Psystorm all over these Terran units. And I feel like when I was watching the carrier production timer, that was like watching the countdown to GG for KawaiiRice. Because once these carriers get out on the field, there's not much a mech army can do. Yes, he's got 2 Vikings, but he's got a few Thors. It's just not going to be enough. These carriers are completely going to crush this entire army. War Prism yet again at the back of the main. And I mean, KawaiiRice is just, the wheels have come off. He's pushed as far as he's going to be able to push. And Protoss is basically going to say, okay, you know, enough playing around. It's time to end this.
Nice. He sends in a Dark Templar. Scan goes off, and of course, not a whole lot left. He can continue to do this. He's got plenty of resources to spend, and here we go. Oh my God, carriers! Are you kidding me? The Thors are going to focus fire, but he baits them into the cannons. A nice siege spread on the outside, but there's not a terrible amount of siege tanks. Only a few, and several of them very hurt. In fact, one DT is just annihilating those siege tanks, forcing yet another scan, and we still have more carriers on the way. So eventually it's going to be inevitable. We have a stream of units coming over right now. KawaiiRice trying to take that gold, trying to get back into this game, but once these Thors go down, it's going to be game over, and the carriers do move forward. We're seeing a lot of damage being done, but he really doesn't want to commit yet. He's going to give this base up, and he's kind of committing to that. Well, the Terran thinks I'm dying slowly, when in reality, I'm basically going to win off of a push. Now here he's going to come in from the side. Another DT rush. The carrier's coming in from the north, and this could be a chill.
Yeah, he's got 4 more carriers uniting, and all the carriers moving in now. All the Thors are deep in the orange or deep in the red. Chargelot's running right up. Carriers trying to focus down. Psystorm going up. Everything dying in a glorious display of processing power. As everything dies from the Terran. Somebody asking for the worker count at the end of the game. It's 45 for the Terran, 85 for the Protoss. So that showed the strength of the Terran army, as they were both max. That means Terran's going to have about a 40 food advantage in that final battle. But the transition to carriers sealed it, and all game just harassing, moving around the entire map was brilliant by HasuObs. I mean, those 3 Colossus were alive for like 20 minutes or something insane, and just a textbook way to pick apart mech by HasuObs.